Welcome to How-To in a Few. Today we're going to be working on this van and changing out a part called the Harmonic balance. It's actually the pulley that goes on the crank shaft at the bottom of the engine. It is dampened with some type of cushion, usually rubber, that allows it to vibrate slightly, and it absorbs the shock from the natural vibrations of the motor. And when it goes bad, it'll start to wobble. That wobbling has actually caused the failure of the idler pulleys that I replaced in a previous video. But today we've gotten down to the actual problem and are going to correct that issue today. Alright, first step is we're going to use this ratchet on the tensioner to go ahead and remove the belt. Everything else most likely we'll get from the bottom of the engine. Alright, we've got the car jacked up with a safety stand underneath it, emergency brake on. Now I'm going to finish taking off these lugs. Alright, for this next step, we're going to remove these little plastic rivets. Hopefully anyway, so that we can get this plastic cover out of the way. Alright, this should reveal our harmonic balance. Alright, what you missed just now was me loosening up this main bolt. I used a breaker bar and socket, and I had a second person holding a fairly large screwdriver here. There's a little lip that I used to pry against the pulley to keep it from spinning, and we were able to break the bolt. Meaning, when I say break it, of course I mean loosen it. Now we're going to use a harmonic balancer puller tool to remove the old pulley. Alright, so I've gotten all three bolts in about the same way, and I'm away from the firewall here, probably just enough. Now I've left that bolt in there, it's slightly loose. The reason for that is to allow that to be the surface that the puller rests on. That way the threads won't get damaged on the crank. I'm backing it out just a few more turns to make sure the bolt's far enough out that we have room to pull the pulley. Alright, I'm firmly seated on that. Now we just need the right socket for that. As we tighten this the remaining part of the way, it should pull the pulley out. Alright, so now I removed the harmonic balance puller. It's not all the way off, but I'm hoping we can muscle it the rest of the way. Take our bolt off. Alright, so there we go. Ready for our new one. One of the things we can notice on this one is how the pulley surface is flush with the belt pulley surface is flush with the gear. We're close to flush. And if we take a look at our old one, how well you can see that, but there is a definite gap. It's slid off of the pulley. It's no longer flush. I'd say it's almost, get that in the picture, it's almost 1/4 of an inch lifted. So now, while I was taking it off, I wasn't really talking, but I was actually damaging it. So I'm sure I'll get some comments as to why that was incorrectly done. Some other people might also mention that you might want to change that seal in there. And we are not going to do any of those things. Okay. So I've basically slid on and made sure that I was on. There's a little pin, and it escapes me the name of the pin right now. It's a shear pin. That's funny. That's shear pin. So I've made sure that was right. Let's see which one of these. Alright, I've screwed the pulley all the way in, but I'm going to go ahead and take the bolt out. Just because I want to make sure that it appears that the new harmonic balance pulley is all the way in. And it looks pretty good. So there's a torque setting for this. I believe it's around 70 pounds, so we're going to torque it back to that using a torque wrench. A lot of times you'll see me shortcut the torque steps, but for a part like this, it's worth pulling out the torque wrench. Okay, so here we have our clicker torque wrench that we have set to 70 pounds, and then I had the help of an assistant holding a screwdriver in there against a ridge. You need to be careful about that, that you don't damage any of the sensors. And then I turned this until I heard it click, and I knew that we were at 70 pounds. Okay, in any event, we're now done down here. We just need to close up the panel and put the belt back on. And there might be a computer relearning curve because there's the sensor's in a different orientation, and the computer's going to have to learn that difference and make adjustments to the timing, but it should that should all work out hopefully fairly easy. out. Alright, so I just finished getting the belt back on, nice and scraped up from reaching in there. Quite a few pulleys, one belt, and this is the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and crank it up. Now there might be a little bit sputtering. If you see that, don't get discouraged, because that computer has to adjust to the timing marks on the new harmonic balance. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Alright, so it did start right up, so apparently either that harmonic balance matched the computer settings or we just got lucky. I don't hear any belt noise whatsoever, no more squealing of the idle pulleys. And it all looks pretty good. I got a few trim items to put back on, but other than that we'll be finished. Alright, so that's it. Harmonic balance replacement on a Chevy Venture. There's probably some other engines that have a similar process. The parts were readily available. Got the tools from the local auto supply store too, and I can return that and actually get my monies back because it's a loaner program. Hopefully that answered your questions or helped you out if you need to do the same repair on your car. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That goes a long way to help promote the video. And take a look at some of the sponsors, because that's what keeps people like me making these videos. And I do appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.